kind of sing. You ready?
I'm looking for our music, Chuck.
Go to window.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to where it shows sounds.
Sound effect?
Yep. There you go. Just hit play.
Are we going to count down?
Nah, just hit it.
Here we go.
Coming to you from the poorly painted studios in Cumming, Georgia, this is the Chuck and Z Show. And now, here's Chuck and Z.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z Show. Of course, I am Chuck.
And I'm Z.
And with us, as always, is producer Chaos.
How's it going?
It is going well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad we found the music.
Again, I think the pre-show is just as good as the show,
Yeah, it is.
if not better. Scrambling around the room.
You're so
trying-
calm, Chuck. You're so calm. I have chaos in my veins.
Well, tonight I'm not going to spend a lot of time on preamble. I've got a gentleman that we're getting ready to join, put on the show. His name is Tyler Michael. He is the founder of Lords of Gastown. I'm wearing one of the hoodies. You know, it's funny, when I was getting ready for the show tonight, I have this old movie in my head called PCU. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find today. It's got Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau in it.
Oh,
and
sounds good.
It's from like the mid-90s. And there's a scene in it where Jon Favreau is getting ready to go see this band play. And Jeremy Piven realizes he's wearing the shirt of the band that he's going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you're wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, don't be that guy. And I went through my head tonight whenever I was getting ready for the show, but I was like, you know what? I love Lord's apparel, so I'm wearing it. I'd probably would have worn it anyways.
Yeah.
So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get Tyler on the show. Super excited to have him on. Tyler, welcome to the Chuck and Z Show.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I love the jersey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This is like we were saying before, this is actually a contraband jersey because of this. Where is it? It's back. This right here.
Yeah.
We got a cease and desist from Nike for that.
It doesn't even say Nike on it. How dare they?
How appropriate, though. I mean, it just makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
that
Yeah, well, like a couple people just pointed out that it's just take it as a compliment and keep rolling with it. But yeah, I mean, for the amount of like knockoff vibes that is in the community as far as, you know, remix and other logos, I was surprised. But again, just take it as a compliment that we were able to be on Nike's radar, I guess.
Yeah, you might have had them all somewhere.
Oh, for sure. That could definitely be.
we have been buying Lords of Gastown apparel for how long?
I don't know, 6, 7 years, 8 years.
At least. Like I remember thinking, oh man, I got to get that logo. I want that logo on my helmet. Like I've got a helmet where I put a lot of white stickers on it, and I just love the logo itself is just perfect. The style of the clothes that you put together is really just speaks to me, like the aesthetic. Even though like on first glance, the marrying of like certain horror icons from time to time with other like I don't know how to explain, like feathers and skulls and just the overall aesthetic. I mean, how did you guys kind of come up with who Lords of Gastown was going to be?
Well, the name was a nickname that was given to me and a couple of my bros from back in the DJ days. I used to. I started one of Vancouver's first electronic music and DJ schools called the School of Remix, and we used to DJ in Gastown's the oldest part of Vancouver. It's like right on the docks. It's like cobblestone roads. It's like old school, like Prohibition days. It's got a lot of rich with history. But when we started hanging out there. It was like super grimy punk, like underground bars and stuff, and we DJ'd at Chronic Taco. I don't know if you're familiar with the Chronic Taco brand out of the West Coast, but Chronic Taco bought a bar down there, and we used to DJ there. And when they closed, we used to hop around to all the other bars that were still open, and that was just a nickname that was given to us. It was like, oh, the Lords of Gastown are here. We just like cause havoc and spend all the money that we made that night, and so originally, I guess it would have been like a kind of a drinking team nickname, and then I had a electronic music based clothing line called Shit's Poppin' Off. So I had already been experimenting with design and branding and whatnot, and so I basically was messing around with the Lords of Dogtown logo. And I found out that you could put Gastown on the cross with the anarchy symbol in the middle that made the A and the O. And I just made up 40 of these shirts. And lo and behold, people wanted to buy them. And then it really just kind of spun off from there. But to speak to the design and stuff, it's really just a pull from a lot of my influences that like I grew up with like Jim Morrison, loving Jim Morrison, and Hunter S. Thompson, and the movie horror side of things. Actually, my father was cast as Michael Myers. He's part of Stunts Canada here. He was the 49th member of Stunts Canada. And then when the horror film Halloween franchise came to Vancouver, he was cast as Michael Myers. So that's one of, like, as you can see here I keep on forgetting it's backwards. On this arm here, I actually have Michael Myers, and I have my dad's signature on here, which was basically him signing off the rights for me to use his likeness. Why I don't get into any trouble for copyright when we use Michael Myers, because it's actually from the movie stills that he was the character of, and his best friend got cast as Jason Voorhees in Jason versus Freddy and Jason X. So that was kind of where the influence of the horror films came in, and I just always really loved messing with graphic design and textiles in general. And I started dating a girl there that became the first seamstress, and we just basically started chopping up our own wardrobes and making new garments out of it, because the aesthetic that we were looking for wasn't really offered by Harley-Davidson, essentially.
Yeah.
It was just something that I've said in the past, is that a lot of times I would have aspired to work for Harley as a designer, but they were not creating that at the time. And at the time when we started this like 12 years ago, as a concept, it was very much an Ed Hardy takeover of like bedazzled and lots of glitz and glam, and we were just at the time all into just murdered out everything and all black everything, and so it was that's kind of where we got the start and the roots of Lords of Gastown.
That's really cool. I can't lie. I had an Ed Hardy shirt.
Yeah.
Me too. I was in Ed Hardy's first fashion show in Vancouver.
Oh wow.
It was cool then, and then it was not cool.
Right. So you were a model and fashion designer, and your dad's an actor and stunt guy. So you come.
Well, yeah, I started
entertainment.
Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. I started off following in my dad's footsteps as a stuntman, and then moved over into acting, because my dad really always wanted to be an actor and didn't want to be a stuntman. It just turned out that stunts kind of picked him. He had a background in martial arts, and his best friend was Tony Morelli, who was world kickboxing champion back when they were sparring partners. And I believe it was like when X-Files as a franchise came to Vancouver, Tony got cast as the casting director and started getting my dad into stunts, and so I started following his footsteps. But I knew that he wanted to be an actor, and I found acting more challenging than stunts at the time, and it was also, a little bit of an ego thing that I didn't want to be in my father's shadow. So yeah, I definitely came from entertainment. And the modeling thing was just like easy money. That I was never really passionate about that, but I was passionate about clothing, and music was really my first passion, and that's why the DJing became a big part of my life before creating textiles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you happen to pick up martial arts as well, or was that not one of the things you got into?
Yeah, no, I did as well. Not as hardcore as him. He was obsessed with Bruce Lee and started his own dojo with his dad and stuff like that. But I studied with him and went into the jiu-jitsu side of things after Taekwondo, and but it was really hindered by my health in my early 20s when I first started struggling with Crohn's disease. So that kind of also took me away from something that was so like body dependent and more on something that was, what would you say acting is like not as physically demanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you were talking earlier about, the Crohn's and everything. So is that something that you still continue? I guess it's something that stays with you your whole life. There's no cure for it, right?
On paper and on the internet, there's no cure for it. But it's been that disease has put me on a healing and holistic path for the last 20 plus years, and it's taught me more than probably anything else. I think I look back and I had a lot of questions around that time of my life around energies and people's energies and how the energies of the world work, and I didn't really have a dialogue for it, and I had a lot of questions, and that disease answered a lot of my questions, and was probably the biggest teacher that way. And the best way to teach somebody about energy is to take it away from them. So then everything your natural energy is gone. So now everything influences you in a positive or a negative way, whether that be a person's energy or food or an activity or sleep. These things. So I think it was 3 years ago now. I went down to Panama and got stem cells. Because I came across that as a natural potential cure and huge tool, and that's been a huge tool since then. And also, it's like back to how you conduct your life, and it's really about stress management and choices for your body.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate. We did a raffle in the community, and I gave away my Dinah, and was able to raise money to go and get stem cells in Panama, and that was huge for sure.
I think I remember that you said it's a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2020 because it was like
Yeah.
right at the beginning of COVID, and when I was in. It was a bummer when I was in Panama. We were like locked down in the hotel.
Yeah, I actually think I remember watching because you were posting about it as you were.
I kind of documented the process and wanted to put it out there, and it was. I followed a guy that I met, Corey, that he went and did it, and he was like, "Oh man, you gotta go and do this," because he had very similar experiences, like going down to like skeleton weight levels and being super malnutritioned and being told by general pharmaceuticals that the only answer was their medicine. And I would say that the next biggest tool that I've just been using. You're familiar with George St. Pierre?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story that I heard, I don't know him, so I don't know this to be factual, but he retired because he got diagnosed with, I believe, ulcerative colitis, which is like the twin condition to Crohn's disease, and it kind of ended his career prematurely. And of course, he's got all the money and access to the best doctors and such, and he started promoting a carnivore/animal-based diet, and he started working with a company called Heart and Soil that I believe he's a partner or founder, which is all like animal organ and animal-based supplements. So I switched to that about I want to say 8 months ago now, and it's also been like a huge tool. And it was the opposite of what I've been told. I'd done all the other, vegan/vegetarian/keto. I've done all the other ones, and it was him and Jordan Peterson that were kind of promoting that carnivore diet based, and it's been huge for me. That's the most I've weighed in my adult life right now. So I was joking about the drinking thing and getting fat, but I'm nowhere near fat. But I definitely have put on some weight, and it feels good.
So you're currently on the carnivore diet.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the animal-based diet, which is a version of that where you also include fruit, eggs, honey, so not just strictly red meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made an attempt at it right before I got COVID. So I was into it for about 2 weeks, and then we went to Cabo, and I had kind of cheated on it while we were in Cabo a little bit, and then when we got back, I was getting back on it, and then I got COVID 2 days later.
Yeah.
So I haven't really made a true attempt at it since, but it's something that I've wanted to try. I've wanted to try various different types of elimination diets, but the carnivore diet is one that I think I could probably be easiest for me, because you don't have to worry about how much you eat. You just eat till you're full, and it's basically all meat.
Mm-hmm.
And I love
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah. Well, and for me, just the philosophy behind it of like. So another part of it is the intermittent fasting that is a part of the diet, and it's basically like around like what we would have eaten when we were in caves and when we were actually hunters and gatherers and using our body and living the way we were, in my opinion, supposed to. Like you just wouldn't have access to all these foods and the processed foods that we have now, and you also wouldn't be able to eat 3 square meals a day at the right time. Like that's those are all in what I have been researched. A lot of it's invented on a marketing side. Like I can't remember what I was watching, but like even like breakfast being the most important meal of the day was just a marketing toy, I believe, from the bacon farmers and stuff that were like, we need to sell more bacon. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we all, at least I'm 47. Tyler, how old are you?
79, so I'm 44.
Z's
that's when you were born, 79.
Z's
Yeah,
in her.
I'm 41.
She's 41. Sharon, how old are you?
52.
All right. So we all grew up somewhat with the food pyramid, which clearly stated grains and breads and
Clean Plate Club.
Right? All these things that we were supposed to eat. We have this I'm sorry, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but then we have this thing where scientists are paid to say that sugar is not a bad thing, that sugar is good for you. And all these things happen. And then we have this massive eruption of obesity in the country and all these additional health problems, the hidden taxes that come along with that. And we're like, well, where did that come from?
Right.
Couldn't be the grains, could it?
No. Nor the sugars.
Nor the sugars.
Preservatives.
But no, I mean, we've all been told for marketing reasons, because we're subsidizing those specific crops, that we need more of them. It's a captured audience. Of course, it's marketing that we're supposed to be eating that stuff. It's not good for you on any level. Where on earth would you ever get that much sugar at once naturally as you get in like a cup of orange juice? You know how much more sugar is in a cup of orange juice than in an orange?
Yeah.
I don't.
it's insane.
Is
It's
it?
like 10, 20 fold. It's insane.
It's like drinking a soda.
Oh my gosh.
It is. It's like 50 something grams.
And
But
your body's like, what do I do with all this sugar? Anyways,
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if you're following too. Like they what is the Coca-Cola orange juice called? Simply
Simply nothing orange.
yeah, like they just recently got busted and fined huge for having some crazy forever chemicals in it that carcinogens and shit. Like did they not? It's not designed for health. The whole thing is not, and it's coupled with like I think what I was saying to you guys in the pre-show is like with my experience and as an entrepreneur, it's like yeah, it makes sense. Like curing disease is bad business. You don't get any repeat customers. If people can be self-sustaining on shit that they can grow in their backyard, like that is bad business for pharmaceuticals. That it doesn't make any sense for that, but. Yeah, and like you were saying, like you look back on all the diseases and all these issues that have come up and whatnot. It's all since processed foods were added.
Yeah.
100%.
It is.
100%. Yeah, I know that we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but that was kind of one of the reasons why I was so leery in the beginning of the whole COVID pandemic. I just, something was off about the way they were talking to us about the pandemic. I always kind of believe that humans on some level have a sense of self-preservation, right? That if something were to happen where all the humans on the planet are going to get wiped out, including the ones that are telling us that all the humans are going to get wiped out, right? I expect that on some level, self-preservation kicks in with that human being. Ronald Reagan had that famous quote, I'm going to butcher it.
Butchered it.
Did it? You want to say it again? I'm going to butcher it. But basically, he was stating, well, if aliens landed, watch how quickly we all forget, our problems and our arguments, how small they would seem.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have that feeling about humanity that even the politicians that are up there telling us this is coming down the pipe, I would expect somewhere along the lines that if we were all truly in danger of dying, that they would not be treating this thing like a political football. And that's what they were doing. And that immediately gave me like this anxiety about everything I was being told. And a lot of the stuff didn't add up. Like it was 2 weeks to stop the spread. And then, hope you get it and get over it because now you can never get it again. And I'll tell you, so my apologies, I'm going off on a rant here, but you brought it up.
Yeah.
So I whenever we went away for a weekend and said, when we get back, the world's going to be crazy because we were hearing all this COVID stuff, right? And we got back and everybody was losing their mind and everybody was not talking about vaccination. They were talking about getting it. And then you will never get it again. And so we were cool. And then somewhere in that year, it started going to natural immunity doesn't exist, right? You have to get it. And there was something about the pitch to it that just felt weird to me and they had certain doctors that were speaking up that were well-known, respected doctors. And it wasn't that they were arguing about what they were saying. It was that they were saying they're not allowed to say that. And that is so fundamentally opposed to how I see the world, right? So if they would have just let them speak and then we can hear their arguments out, but they were trying to stop them. And that just felt very strange to me. So then I started thinking, my apologies for this is taking a second, but then I started thinking, well, we're going to be forced to do it because of what we do for a living. We're going in and out of buildings all day. I was in one plant where like 40 people got it that day and they had to shut it down. And I was like, all right, we're going to get it. About a year later, I get it. And it's bad. It kicked my ass. I lost like 17 pounds in 5 days. It was nasty. There was one really, really bad day where I thought I'm going to the hospital, ready to call 911. And then I kind of got past that moment. And a couple of days later, I started to get better. So I'm thinking I'm past it because now I've got it. Once you get it, you can't get it again. And then the narrative started about, no, you have to get vaccinated as well. So we thought we were going to be forced to get it. So the conversation that convinced me not to get vaccinated, because I'm not vaccinated and I don't plan to be vaccinated, but the conversation that convinced me not to get vaccinated was with my doctor. I went in and I talked to her and I said, I think I'm going to be forced to get the vaccine. I need you to tell me why I need to get this vaccine. But first, can I do an antibody and antigen test? And she said, yeah. And my antibodies were through the roof, right? So I'm like, okay, so I have natural protection against this disease. Why do I need this vaccination? And she said to me, she goes, well, Chuck, we don't know this vaccine, we don't know this disease very well. Okay. We have no idea how long the natural antibodies from natural infection are going to last. I was like, that makes perfect sense. All right. How long do the antibodies from the vaccine last? And she looked at me and goes, Chuck, you need to get the vaccination. And I went, I don't think I'm going to. And I didn't. And now they're talking about doing it again. This new lockdown's coming. But anyways, sorry for my rant there, y'all. But I just don't trust pharmaceutical companies, and I don't trust the government about these things anymore.
Do you really think there's going to be another lockdown?
I think they're going to try. I really do. I think that we're coming into an election year. I think that there's some massive problems within certain political parties right now, in that their candidate is falling apart before our very eyes. They don't really know what they're going to do once he falls apart. So yeah, I think they've got to come up with something, and it worked for them last time.
Well, what is this saying? Like, never in history were the people doing the suppression of the other side in the right.
So true.
Yeah,
Very smart. Very smart.
I agree. I mean, I grew up with very specific principles. One of them was, I may not like what you have to say, Sharon. I may despise what you say, but I should fight for your right to say it.
Nice.
That I really truly believe that. And nowadays, I always expect politicians to try to stop us from being able to talk. I expect that. That's who they want power. They want control. And if they can stop the people from arguing with them, of course, that's what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
What always fascinates me is how the citizens line up behind that. Like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, why do you care? Why is it any of your business whether I have something to hide or not? We are two separate entities. You have no right to any of that. All right, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's pretty frustrating.
Tyler's like, damn, what did I get into?
No, I'm trying to just like not get down the rabbit hole with you right now, bro. I'm like, I'll put my tinfoil hat on.
I got you.
Right now.
All right. Let's get off of that.
It is.
Well,
It's real though.
yeah, we'll get off of that and we'll switch. What do you ride, Tyler? You mentioned a Dyna earlier.
Yeah. I have I've had now. This will be my fourth dyno lowrider. Between this last one I just got was 2016, and I think they're all between 2013, 2016. I just gravitate towards that bike, and then I also have a street 750 that we set up for dirt tracking and ripping around the ranch here. And but I think I'm almost ready to graduate to a bagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my wife always rubs it in that her bike's bigger than mine.
Does she have a bagger?
Sure does, yeah.
That's
And
bitchin'.
just got a bigger front wheel and stretch bag, so it's even it's a big bagger bro bike.
Big bagger bro babe. I love it.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think we heard. How did you get into riding?
Well, it was where I grew up is very biker oriented. There's a huge community here, and I always loved Harley-Davidsons. I just could never afford them growing up, obviously, and it was one of the things when I was there was a period that I was really sick with Crohn's, and I was stuck in bed for the better part of 2 or 3 years, and music and riding motorcycles was the thing that I would envision that I wanted to like get better to do. And as soon as I was healthy enough and had the finances to go get my first Harley was a night train. Was the bike that I would envision getting because it was like, the blacked out Softail. And I went and bought that and rode it all over North America and had no plans on stopping. But life, kids happen, and I rode through California and found out that soft tails weren't cool, and I had to have a Dyna FXR.
Of course. Dyna Bros, California.
Yeah. But no, that was what it was. I just it was one of those aspirational things that made me want to get better and get through this and have the vision manifest.
That's awesome. So, your wife's been riding. How long did she pick up riding with you, or was she already riding when you guys met?
No, she was definitely already riding. She's been riding for I think, close to 20 years as well. When I first met her, she was on a Ducati, and she was this like 6'1" beautiful woman that rolled up on a Ducati, and I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
And she rolled up to our event, our show and shine. I think it was only our second show and shine. We just did our 9th one. So I believe it was our second one. And she showed up by herself on her Ducati, only one riding a street bike. Everyone else was on choppers or Harleys. And we didn't reconnect till about 3 years ago from the first time we met.
Wow.
But she's from Montreal, which is the French-Canadian part of Canada, so I don't hold that against her, but I think that's why we get along, because we don't totally understand what we're saying to each other.
Stop. So does she speak English or mostly French?
She does a good job of speaking English. No, I'm kidding. She speaks very good English. She speaks multiple languages, so I shouldn't joke about it, because I can barely speak English myself. Yeah. But she speaks French, and she's learning Spanish right now. She speaks Italian and some Russian.
Wow, that is cool. Whenever I think about like Canada and French Canadians, I always think about that Bruce Willis movie. What is it? 9 Yards or something?
The Whole 9 Yards?
No. Was that it? With Bruce Willis, he meets this girl in Montreal. He's like an underground bad guy. Okay, never mind.
I don't know that one.
All right.
Producer Chaos, see if
is
you
it
can
the
figure
Whole
that
9
one.
Yards? Hold on.
I don't think that's it.
Anyways, continue. My bad. I really thought you were gonna get that.
Yeah, I don't know that
The
movie.
Whole 9 Yards.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's got the dude from Friends in it.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Amanda Peet? Is that her name?
And the French girl.
Oh, Natasha Henstridge? She's not French, is she?
Mm-mm. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So, quick question.
Rosanna Arquette. She's the one that plays the French girl.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. We talked a little bit about the aesthetic that you guys have with the Lords of Gastown, but every time I see one of your videos, they look like the greatest parties. Do you guys kind of do all that yourself, or do you have someone come in and kind of do the party for you? I mean, how did that all get started?
No. So that's back to kind of the transition of the community that I had around electronic music and producing events. The original Lords compound that we had in Gastown was where my DJ school was, and so that was kind of how it overlapped. I transitioned from being obsessed with music into motorcycles. So event production was a big part of my life and has been for a long time. I used to own a event staffing company that did bartenders and servers for private, because my first company was actually called School of Mix, which was a bartending school that I worked at, and then when the owner and mentor passed away, I kept the business going. But that was also at the time that my health was not great. So I was, and alcohol is like one of the worst things for an inflammatory disease. So I was like, oh man, like this is a weird juxtaposed situation I'm in. I like can't drink, and I own a bartending and event staffing company. So music became like kind of a healthier outlet. But yeah, no, event production is all us. It's internal. I'm blessed to have a wicked community that helps volunteer, and a lot of core team that puts it all together. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, what is the motorcycle scene like up in Canada? Obviously, we've never ridden up there. Do you guys have mountain roads? I mean, what's it like up there with?
Well, where I'm from on the west coast of British Columbia is hands down some of the in the summer some of the nicest riding in the world. I would say from where I've ridden, and I've ridden a lot of North America. And it's wicked highways up to Whistler, but also like in the interior is amazing back roads. We also have like a plethora of islands. That's pretty cool to just jump on the ferries and you can go ride on the islands. And I think there's like 1,800 islands off the coast of British Columbia. But the main island is Vancouver Island, and there's a lot of it's very rich with motorcycle culture here for sure.
That's cool. So do you run into Ryan Reynolds a lot?
Not on a motorcycle. I haven't. No. I think he was at the local strip club at one time that we used to frequent. That was actually in. Funny thing about that is in Deadpool, the original Deadpool. If you look back at the strip club and you read the sign, it actually says, I think it says Lords of Gastown on the sign when they were shooting there.
That's wild.
Dang.
Yeah,
I need to go
because
back and
that's
watch it.
yeah, that same strip club's called Number 5 Orange, and it was like right down the street from our original compound warehouse, and we used to do Lords. That was where the Lords takeovers came from. We started doing Lords takeovers at the strip club, and it was pretty interesting back in the day. We had Machine Gun Kelly that was there, and some other celebrities that rolled through town, and it was wild. Mickey Avalon was another guy that through there, and it was cool. But it's like brands are like children, right? They evolve, they expand, they move around. Like we're now I think what is it, like an hour outside of Gastown where we were in between Langley and Aldergrove, right on the U.S. border. Which so yeah, where we're at right now looks a lot like, if you've been to Washington or Bellingham area.
Yeah.
It's a lot like that, but also very different at the same time because it's funny. I have so many friends I got a lot of tattoo friends in Bellingham that have never been up here. Some because they're not allowed, some because they don't think that there's anything worth coming up to see. But I test my bro. He's like, bro, just put my address in Google right now. And so he does. He's like, bro, you're 10 miles from me. I'm like, yeah, bro, we're like neighbors. And I'm like, because they're in Linden, and I was just actually down in Birch Bay for the weekend, and it's visually very much the same, but the vibes are very different, which I like. I like to go down there because it seems a lot more small town America vibes down there for sure.
Okay.
Which it is.
Yeah.
What is something that when it comes to starting like a motorcycle brand, what is something that you would say was unexpected about it for you?
The reach, and how quickly it grew at the beginning, for sure. But the reach to I'd never been to Utah, and we were doing. So we started a ride called Lust for Dust that was riding to Mazatlan Bike Week, and that was born out of a breakdown that I had when I was riding from Vancouver to Nicaragua in 2013. And I broke down in Mazatlan, ended up at the only bike shop that had a Harley neon sign that we could find. And long story short, we thought we were going to get our bike stolen by what looked like these badass cartel biker dudes. And they were the nicest and have been the nicest people, to the point that Paulo now is like one of my best friends. He's got Lords tattooed on the inside of his bicep. And he wouldn't let us pay for anything when we were there. And I was like, well, what can we do to repay you? Like, I don't feel comfortable like just taking like literally would not let me pay for my bike fix, would not let me pay for a taco or a beer. And the rest of the time that we were in Mexico, he had us with club escorts. And at every border, we would change clubs. Like the one club would stay on the one side, and the other club would meet us. They're like, oh, you're Paulo's Canadian bros. Like, we're gonna show you the way. So anyways, we started this ride to go back and go to his event that he produces every year. And I'd never taken the route through Utah, and we had like vans like ripping up beside us, like honking, and we're like, oh shit, did we cut these guys off like stupid kids, or they just don't like our Canadian license plate? And it was like, no, they're like holding our hoodies up to the window, and like, fuck yeah, Lord, like you guys are awesome. And like in Mexico now, it's like celebrity status when we go to events, like getting everyone wants a picture and stuff. So that was just not expected at all.
Yeah.
Like it was really just like a passion project, creative outlet that was, potentially just a drinking team for the boys. And it kind of just snowballed into what it is. And the reach and people like you were explaining, like being able to get the vibe of like what something that was in my mind that translates into a textile, but there's a message. Like for me, there's always like a story with most of the designs and where it came from and stuff, and the fact that other people across the world that I've never met before resonates with like that's super cool and definitely was not expected.
Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, obviously, it's probably a amalgamation of memories that I have about Lords of Gastown, right? But I just remember from the very jump, I was like, "Who's that?" Because I want to wear that shirt. I like that shirt. That's a badass shirt. And then as I got, obviously when you first start out, you're like, "Man, this stuff's expensive." But then as it goes on, it's like, it's actually, you realize why it is, because it's such good quality. Like I have so many of your hoodies that I have been wearing for years because they just hold up. They don't fade. They're in great shape, whatever. So for me, it became really worth the investment really quick.
Yeah.
And now I probably have a problem. I probably have too many. I probably have too many. Now it's like, oh, he's wearing a Lord's hoodie again.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we definitely want. I mean, we get that all the time in regards to the price point, because they're, when you're comparing apples to apples, it's like, okay, well, it's a black T-shirt with white ink, like it should be like $22 or $19.99 or whatever. But we did always try and use the most premium garments that we could find for blanks, and then when it came to like the cut and sew, it's like, well, you're comparing my garment that at the time, like my friend is making in Vancouver in our warehouse on our machines in like Vancouver real estate is on par with New York.
Yeah.
And we're you're comparing my garment that's handmade by this in this climate to something that's coming off the boat from China, potentially made by children. Like it's not the same, but I get it. Like visually, it could look the same and whatever, but the quality isn't there, and it's just also at the time like that was the craftsmanship that we were offering, and so it's something that I do have to explain a lot as far as like why the price point it is, and it's like we're definitely not hosing people in the sense that like the margins, like I don't know what they are now because we've been forced to during COVID we were forced to shut down our factories here, but like our margins are maybe 20 to 30% profit on our cut and sew because after wages and overhead and everything, like that's like, and if you're looking at other people's margins from overseas, most people are looking like 200% margin on what they're paying.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's something that I think you and I understand because of what we do for a living. I mean, we tell people all the time we're probably never going to be the least expensive service that you could use. But we also understand what goes into doing what we do. And there's only so many places that you can cut corners. And you don't want us to cut any of them. Because if we do, you're going to have a poor quality product or service that comes out of at the end of the day.
Or legal issues.
Or you get a garment that's not printed right, or whatever it translates into your industry, of course. The point that I was making is I found out that the reason why is because it was worth it. I buy a ton of stuff, and I give so many people chances. Like I'll see certain types of brands, you'll see them on Instagram. You're like, oh, that's a good looking shirt. And then you'll pick that shirt up and you'll have it for a week, and the next thing you know, the first wash it shrank, or the seams start to come out, or whatever. And I'll never buy another shirt from that vendor again, because that's the experience I had the first time. But I've never had a single. I still have one of your T-shirts, one of your black T-shirts that has the free time. Was it say free times on it? I think something like that. Good times on it. It says good times on it. I've had that for like 6.5, 7 years, and it looks just as good today as when I bought it.
I like the splitting lanes and splitting legs.
Yeah,
that's
I just wish it
funny.
said. I think it says what, from 678.
Yeah, 79.
79. Yeah, his birthday.
Yeah. That was a controversial. We got. Well, it's funny. My response to that, because there's a little bit of like from the. I remember a girl locally was like, "Man, like you built this platform and you've given this opportunity, and this is the message that you're putting out, like splitting lanes and legs and blah blah." And I'm like, well, for one, I'd like to see you ride a motorcycle without splitting your legs.
I know.
So I think it's a little bit more like smart than just like a if the bitch fell off, you can if you can read the bitch fell off or whatever, But I mean it's so synonymous with motorcycle culture as well. Like the motorcycle culture that I grew up loving was like it was a little bit dirty and a little bit tongue in cheek and stuff like that. And I think we've gotten to that new climate now that like, oh, well, that's offensive. I'm offended by that. That you're and like I deal so much around the female side of the community. Because of the Thank the Lord's page and the bodysuits and whatnot, and it's like here's the deal. Like I don't know how rich you think that we are, or like how successful, but like we don't produce like more than like 2 or 3% of the content of these women in the bodysuits. It would literally made Thank the Lord's because we would get hate mail for not posting every one of these women's pictures. If they went and hired a photographer, bought the garment, and submitted these, and it's like, well, you're just objectifying women. You're like cheapening, all the things that come along with that. And there's an interesting conversation within that community around the girls that ride and girls that don't ride, that are like the backpack or the patch slickers or whatever, whatever the name you want to give to that. And it's something that is interesting that we have to deal with, because I'm like, hey, we don't produce those. That's user generated content. And like, if you guys are all raw support women, like how can you single out, well, but she's this way, but she doesn't ride. Like I don't know. What's your take on that, Z? Like.
I just want people to be comfortable doing what they want to do. And if they want to flaunt their assets wearing a Lords of Gastown like bodysuit, that's awesome. If they don't ride, that's great too. I think that you need support from all areas in order to be a successful business, right? Um, but I mean, I do see some, some uh, companies like yours that really do push, the female aspect of the thing, like the thongs and the bikinis and all that kind of stuff. I think there's a place for everybody to get what they want out of the brand. I think that it helps the brand. I don't think it degrades the brand for you to have like thank the Lords. I actually like that page. I think Scooter Hussey still run it? I don't know.
No, she's not, but she would. But that's always been my thing. Is like also that was the thing. Is like, it's female run. Like, and I for me as a founder, I was not passionate about making women's clothing.
Right.
Like that was something that we were forced to do. Really, it was like at the beginning, women were just cutting our men's clothing into women's clothing, and it was like, okay, well, obviously we have to make clothes for women. And I'm just working with my wife on a new passion project based on making more functional riding women's clothing, because it's something that she's passionate about, and something that you have to be passionate about to do a good job about it. But really, I never picked the blanks or the garments. It was the women in the community that picked it, and it was also what was available. And like watching her go through it, it's a much more difficult task to make functional, good women's clothing than it is for men, because the body types are so different, and the community is so broken up as far as like what different women like. So that's why we're doing a lot of work with leather and stuff now. But it's to make something off the rack is really difficult. That's going to be versatile and work for a lot of women's shapes. So that's why we've been focusing on more custom, like made to order, because to get it to fit and for the price point that we need to charge, like you want it to fit like a glove, and like the best way to do that is to build it off of that woman's measurements.
Yeah. I actually work with it, or have some friends who do women's riding gear here in Atlanta, and they only make custom. Like they make exactly to fit your measurements, because it's so expensive to create all these blanks of sizes that you don't know if they're going to fit or not. And everybody's body shape is different, height different. There's just a lot of different it's so segmented too, in what people like, what types of clothing and styles that they want to wear. So it has changed, and I do see where the challenge comes in with that. But I like the fact that you guys do have a few pieces that are female centric. I obviously like the style, so I was looking online too that you have like you were just talking about it, your new leather wear that you were doing. And I love that jacket that you had with all of the spikes on it. That was really cool.
That's like again more like not super functional, but
right.
Very
so
aesthetically.
Could be.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on exactly. Like, I mean, if you go to smack somebody with those spikes, it's going to be functional. But what surprised me when they were all said and done was the weight of like how much those jackets weigh. But that's something that I'm stoked on, is experimenting more on the creative side of that, and seeing what she comes up with, and you're right, the challenges, and why with Lords I didn't expand beyond a lot of the SKUs that were available, was just because it was super challenging, and custom was the only thing that made sense, because like exactly what you explained, like you order some stuff off the rack, it's one size or say one cut for such a big community. It's a very risky business endeavor as well. You can get stuck with products that don't work and stuff. So, but for the women audience out there, I do want you to be happy, and I do want to cater you, so my wife's going to do that.
Yay. Well, awesome.
What did they say? Listen to the woman.
Happy
Yeah.
life. Happy life.
You know, I get the point of that. Why does that sound like a threat? Like every time I've heard that, happy wife, happy life sounds like a threat. As in, if I'm not happy, you're gonna hate life.
Because it is, bro.
Truth.
It's like they always say, what is it? If mama ain't happy, no one is. Whatever. No one ever says any rhyming things with dad. Like,
Yeah.
sad dad is bad. No one does that.
They don't do that. They do like.
No one cares. Like, shut up and go chop some wood.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Go get that milk and honey, Dad.
That's right. You know, it's curious. You mentioned something earlier. So Hunter S. Thompson was kind of and the Doors were kind of an influence on you. Is that kind of where like the feathers and some of the Native American or indigenous look came to some of the products?
No. It was because the core group that started it all had native heritage.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's been something that has been a gift and a curse, and something that we've dealt with around the culture appropriation, and some people wanting to demonize the designs as being anti-native, and it's the furthest from the truth. You know, that was the original charities that we were supporting were like the Mother's Aboriginal Foundation and some of the local Native basketball teams we supported with jerseys and stuff. So it came from that heritage, and I love that part of our heritage. But it was there was conflict around it. We kind of like didn't. It became an old conversation of having to explain that it was not anti-Aboriginal or anti-Native. But that's where the founding imagery came from, with that, like the peace pipe and the feathers and the headdress,
And the medicine man, right?
the medicine man was the name of one of the designs, and that was the or the speed shaman was a take on kind of also where I was at with around holistic healing as well, and wanting to experiment with ayahuasca and natural plant teachers and stuff like that. So, but of course, the internet will say that like, oh well, it's a native motif skull, so that means that you hate natives and you want them to die. And it's like what the fuck are you talking about? But it's like to me, it's like always, my response was like, well, art is always subject to the viewer, and that says more about you than it does me. And the fact that you didn't ask any questions and you just started blanket statements and judgments mean that you don't really care about what it actually means. You just want to demonize me. Because I potentially don't look like what you would perceive as what a native person looks like, or I don't have enough native blood in my bloodline to govern me supporting that community.
Yeah, that's actually something I talk about sometimes. Is when you have people who just kind of just want to throw an accusation at you, something about you or the way you act, totally unwarranted, just out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of see that stuff as confession now. Like you're confessing something about yourself. Like you see something and you're trying to project something on me that you think, and so you assume I think that as well, and that's why you do that. But that stuff. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just one piece to what you're saying is that I didn't mention. It was never people in the native community. It was never people in that. It was always like white, like virtue signaling millennials.
Yeah.
And again, it was they never led with questions. That was a big part of it. Like, you never asked my heritage. You never asked what these designs meant. I'm the creator. You never asked me. You just told me this is cultural appropriation. This is anti this, and this is inappropriate, whatever. It's like, dude, I believe in alchemy. Like, you can cultivate energy, and you can as the creator of it, you decide where that energy goes and what it stands for. But like I said, it's more art is like you're the beholder. That's what you take away from it. Well, that says more about you than me as the creator.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah, I like that.
Well stated.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler,
It's been
go ahead.
12 years. It's been 12 years of going through that conversation, so I've kind of got it down to a
Yeah, you kind
concise.
of got your elevator speech together when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, I want to be respectful of your time, man. We just hit an hour, and I truly, truly appreciate you coming on the show. But before we jump off, obviously give all your social media, all the stuff where people can find Lords, all that good stuff.
Instagram. We're not on the TikTok so much anymore. So Instagram just at Lords of Gastown, and then just Facebook at Lords of Gastown. And thanks for having us. I keep saying us. Like I said, I'm looking at the goats, and I'm like in a herd mentality.
Show everybody the goats.
All right. Can you see from here? They're having sexy time over there.
Hey, getting it on. They're so cute.
Yeah.
I appreciate the invite, and I welcome you guys out at the ranch if you ever want to come check it out. I'll show you the upgraded stabbing cabin that we're offering to guests. We did that. That's yours. If you guys are ever in town,
We'll bring plastic sheets.
more tattoo, less like black light needed. We use this as a tattoo booth when for events and stuff.
Well, just so you know, when you said stabbing cabin,
That's where my mind went.
My mind went somewhere else. That says more about me than it does you.
I believe that's called a double entendre.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be that. That's the branding coming out in me. But I'd love to have you guys up here anytime you want to come check out BC. I recommend between June and September. Otherwise, you'll have to come visit me in Mexico because I won't want to be here.
Hey, we might be down for that as well.
Love it.
Also, real quick, thank you so much for our listeners. If you want to go buy some really, really cool Lords of Gastown apparel, you can go do so with our code Chuck Zee for 15% off.
Nice.
Thank you for that, man. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the support, and again, thanks for having me. And I'd love to host you guys anytime you want to come up here. And I'm definitely going to look you up when I come to your neck of the woods.
You have to. We've got some great roads we got to show you. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, bro. Take care.
Good
Bye,
to talk
everybody.
to you.
Like and subscribe.
Cheers.
All that good stuff.
Bye-bye.
Bye.